America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bye, guys.
Everybody have a chance to read through the minutes from May 17th? Yes, ma'am. Okay, I'm looking for a motion.
So moved. I'll second.
Second, Don. Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, next is Randy, you're up. Highway.
Quick and easy.
You tell us.
Road projects have started for our summit. Pelcher Road was first. We pulled all the rocks out of the first 1,000 feet of it. Supposedly 2 weeks from now, we will be grinding the blacktop and then paving it approximately a month after that. Page Street was second. Actually, no, mistake. Town was second. We changed to culverts from the backside of Guide Board last Wednesday, Thursday. Today we did Page Street, pulling of the rocks. Tomorrow we will start the culvert project, putting in a bypass culvert for the water. And then next Monday, Tuesday, so everybody hearing this, the Page Street will be a disaster for the day, or 2 days. We would change the 6-foot culvert that's right before Moffitt's Beach.
What day is that?
Monday and
Monday,
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Wednesday is trash day, so we're gonna try to squeeze it in Monday, Tuesday.
Is that weather permitting or going on?
Well,
You know, next week, Wednesday.
next week, Wednesday is trash day, no matter
6-6.
what. Monday, Tuesday is culvert, as long as it's not torrential downpour. We would like the creeks to be low, but that's what we're putting in the culvert to go around it right now, tomorrow. Cemeteries have been very busy, but everything's going well, so that's good, as well as cemeteries can go. We've been keeping up with the mowing, and we had as far as buildings go, 2 things. I contacted the contractor. He's going to be possibly doing the sidewalks before the 4th of July.
Oh, nice.
Although, since I've talked to him, his projects have been going slower and slower, so I'm starting to get skeptical if it's going to be before the 4th of July. But we're high hopes. We're ready, it's just he's got to get done with some other projects before he comes to ours. And the second thing on buildings, we had a electrical issue in this room last week. It was resolved. I did bring the electrician in to assist me in this situation, and found out that the outlet right behind Nancy was the faulty situation with the loose wire, taking out all the outlets there, turning on the emergency sign, so on and so forth. It wasn't a big enough issue to trip the breaker, so it was just sporadic because the wire was just loose. That's been resolved, the new outlet's been in, and the electrician thankfully did it with no charge, so.
Yeah.
That's it.
Randy, did you get that phone call from Tri-County Fencing?
I got a phone call later this afternoon,
Yeah.
but he did not leave a return
Oh,
number,
okay,
so,
that's who that was.
okay.
That's it, Randy? Okay, moving on to old business. The final auctions international report is, auction was over Tuesday, June 1st at 10:15. Peter Anderson was the highest bidder, which was $45,300. The winner had to also pay the additional buyer fee of $4,530 to the Auctions International. I had contacted you all verbally just for a yay or nay on Tuesday to start the process, because we didn't want to wait a full week. So I sent you all the resolution, which I did not send because it was not correct, so we just got the other one and everybody has it. Has everybody had a chance to look through the resolution tonight? Okay, Debbie, you have the actual one?
Yes.
The resolution, Chris? Yeah. Okay, so then I am looking for a motion to accept it.
Moved.
Okay, Second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so tomorrow I will be signing the paperwork and getting it back to RJ. Once he gets that, he sends the paperwork to be signed by the buyer, and the buyer will send it back with full payment. The payment is due by June 17th. Our attorney is already getting the quitclaim deed ready for the 17th, and she will keep us in the loop, but she said it's minimal paperwork and it should go quite quickly. I had sent an email to Peter Anderson to congratulate him and thank him, and his response was, and I'm going to read it, "Betsy, thank you for all your help along the way. We are pleased to have been able to purchase the property, and we look forward to peaceful coexistence with the right-of-way folks as we have had for 35 years. Thank you again, Pete." So I just kind of thought that that was really nice, and I just kind of wanted to mention that along the way. So I guess that's it for that. Next is the opt-out, which I had spoken with the attorney today, and she's actually going to work on the local law this week, so we'll have it for next week's meeting. So we're not going to make any decisions tonight. After adopting the law, we will be subject to a permissive referendum. The local law is not in effect until 45 days after its adoption. If a petition is filed requiring the local law be approved by the majority vote of electorate, the petition must be filed in Debbie's office within 45 days of the board adopting the law. If no petition is filed, then Debbie will send the local law to the state for approval. So basically, we'll make a decision at the next meeting, and we'll go from there.
Can I say?
You can.
I would recommend, if you haven't seen it yet, the webinar that Betsy sent gives a lot of information, and I printed out the slides that were discussed, but
If anybody wants it, I can send it.
yeah, very,
Go through it.
very good.
Yeah, me too.
And, you know, you could do other things and just listen, because she puts these same slides up. So, you know, you can,
That's from the Association of Mayors and Towns. It was for both, from both.
Association of Towns and the Conference of Mayors. Both.
Yeah,
Yes.
the gentleman was representing the villages, the
Right.
legal counsel was coming out of town.
Yeah,
Well,
because the village is going to be different. The guidelines for a village are totally different than the guidelines for a town
for opting out.
for opting out. I mean, it kind of seems kind of strange why, but it is what it is. And every class that we've taken, we've learned this, so it's definitely the case. But anyway,
One of the things that we've shared here before, as we discussed this in session, is that, you know, there are many layers to these things. Opting out for the dispensary does not preclude an investor from doing a grow here or doing other managerial things.
No.
Although, as it was explained from Pat Kraus last time, it would be a major investment and one that's not anticipated.
And also,
within the park.
in the slides, it will also tell you that trying to grow marijuana in upstate New York
Yeah.
is pretty much slim to none because of
Yeah,
the climate, as opposed to California or something like
Right.
that,
It's
so,
an enormous investment in greenhouses and
Right.
so on that would not return.
right.
Yep.
Well,
Okay, so next, the Board of Assessment Review Report. Dan gave me, grievance day was May 27th. No one came in that night. Dan reported that there were no stipulations, which means after the tentative roll was filed, any changes would have had to have been agreed with an amount, and both taxpayer and Dan would have had to have signed it. So it's all done, that's all set. So that's that. And next, we're going to move on to the LED lighting. And Chris, I'm going to turn it over to you because you just gave us some information.
Yep.
And go from there.
As well, we all know the board decided last meeting not to pursue purchasing the total package, the poles, the fixtures, the bulbs. So I went back to a little more research and discovered that wow, the gentleman who spoke here last month is indeed an expert on LEDs and outdoor lighting equipment. is apparently he's not familiar with the governor's plan,
Okay.
which is 50% renewable energy supply by 2030. And if you remember, when he was talking here, he said you have to look at National Grid's motives. Well, the motive is they're being made to do it.
Right.
So there's no catch as far as that's concerned. We pay for each light, not by kilowatt hour, but by fee, which is set by the Power Authority. And the fee is much less for LED bulbs than it is for the high pressure sodium bulbs. There's actually a savings of 79% between the two fees. So it's, for each 100 watt high pressure sodium light bulb, it's 491 kilowatt hours annually, and for each LED one, it's 105 kilowatt hours annually. So there's a big difference. And there was also talk of revamping the entire street lighting system, which is not necessary in my opinion. I think it would be too big a project and too costly for us. And I don't think it's necessary, but the board might. So I went back to Adirondack North Country Association's Nancy Bernstein, who's one of the energy circuit riders there. And she did a cost analysis for us. So it really looks good. The town currently pays about $18,827 annually for street lighting. And using the same rate structure, the annual cost for LED streetlights would have been $13,654. So that's an annual savings of $4,673, which almost offsets the annual interest on the grader, which would be nice. Those savings alone would pay off National Grid's conversion costs in 27 months. However, if we apply the LED rebate, the payback period is reduced to 9.3 months. So I passed this information out to the board. There's some copies over there on the shelf. And the board also has information about how to initiate this program through National Grid.
Chris, is our portion of this up front?
Yes, it is.
I couldn't glean that. Okay, and then we get it back through the
Right.
savings over that time period.
We can finance it if we want to.
Yeah.
But it's so little, I don't think we want to.
Yeah, the gentleman who was here last time, I thought he was great in his take on any owned equipment, that
Absolutely.
demarcation needed to be made, so I'm glad he came. However, as you say, because of a couple of initiatives that the governor's going to want to have done before he leaves us perhaps, this one's been one that's we've been beating up for some time, this and broadband, so we may see this come to fruition in time, and we all know the village has been on this same program. Nancy Bernstein is a really smart player. She's been around in Anka and in the Indian Lake market for a long time, so I'm glad you got to speak with her.
Chris, what would our initial outlay be? I was just trying to find it without going through this whole.
I'm looking. $10,495.51.
Okay.
The estimated incentive is $6,880.
And that's what we would get back as a rebate.
Right. So if the board decides that it wants to go ahead and pursue this, Nancy's ready to continue helping us. And it would start with a letter of commitment from Betsy to National Grid's Joe Poloni, I think that's how you say his name?
Do you want to move that?
Yeah,
So
I'd
you would like to move it?
That'd be great.
I would second that for discussion.
All right. Okay. Any further discussion?
Just
Oh,
point
yeah,
out, someplace in here, they pointed out something that has been an issue for some folks is it's more of an indirect light. It doesn't kind of flood the area. So you see it in some of the other communities. I just noticed it in the last month or so. A lot of deflectors are being put on for certain folks when they're in residential areas. And I don't think there's a whole lot of cost to that, but.
That's all something that we can control.
Right.
And Nancy, the payment is due 90 days after the commitment letter is accepted.
Okay, so if Betsy were to write a letter tonight, we'd have 90 days to pay this 10,000.
Are there any other
Okay.
municipalities around that are doing this or have already started?
Wells, Long Range,
Village.
Village,
I think one other, I think Inlet's looking at it too.
I think Indian Lake, but off the top of my head, I'm not sure.
I'm not either.
Anybody that's had it already done or they're just committing to do it?
They were all supposed to be done this week, or maybe last week, I'm not sure.
I saw
The mayor
it
said
in Wells.
that this
It's
week,
just
they would be
recent.
here at the end of this week in the
Okay.
village.
Okay, that's what I
Working.
thought.
Yeah,
Right, so there's nobody out there, long-term that can tell you, oh, we've gotten our return. There is, I'm sure,
Oh,
not
Gloversville.
around here, yeah. I mean,
Gloversville
not-
had
not-
theirs done last year, and they're very happy with it.
Yeah,
According to news articles.
our neighbors they're just kind of getting to us with this program, so.
okay. Chris, thanks for all your work
Yes.
following up.
Yeah.
Because after last meeting, we were all kind of like just putting it on the back burner and saying, let's see what happens for everybody else. So thanks for pursuing it.
The village is getting theirs installed. This,
They're coming to work this week.
So you have to have, on the pole, there's a fixture, and the fixture holds the light bulb. And the fixtures that are on there now do not accommodate the LED light bulbs, and they're old. So what we're basically paying for is for National Grid to come in and put new fixtures in,
okay, and then,
and the LED bulbs.
so we would be able to see what the LED lighting is if we wait till the next meeting to do how we like how it,
Oh, how it looks in the village?
yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Instead of, jumping tonight, perhaps just waiting 2 weeks and
Up
see.
to you guys.
Is there a time frame that this will be
Well, the
expiring?
energy efficiency
there is.
incentive, the rebate, there's not an unlimited amount of funds. So it's basically first come, first served.
Oh,
I can't imagine a couple of weeks would make much of a difference. So,
Well, I've seen it in other communities, so I don't, but I have no.
I know from what Jeanette had said, and she sent you and I some information, Chris, what she had said is that they will actually direct them any way you want them so that you don't have to worry about them being blinding as
Right.
cars or pedestrians are
Yeah.
going by.
yeah. I can just see Jeanette out there and.
yeah, with each one.
So, okay, so the decision is we are going to continue
Or
or
we haven't,
are we going to wait on that?
you have a motion on.
Nancy, you wanna wait?
I'd be curious to see what they look like, but if others want to go ahead, I'm okay with that also.
I think we should move forward.
I think we should move forward, okay. So who would like,
Call the vote.
who would like to move?
I'd like to move.
Okay, Chris?
We did this already.
It already went from Chris to Neil. They
Chris?
moved it.
Chris moved,
Okay.
I seconded, we
Okay.
were in discussion.
Okay, so now all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, aye. Any opposed? Okay,
Oh, yeah, Indian Lake and Newcomb both did it.
okay.
The brain kicks in
I
occasionally.
figured Nancy had to have an Indian Lake in there, I just didn't see.
I know, but I couldn't remember for sure.
She wields a lot of clout.
Old brain, it works slowly.
Okay, next is the final BTI report for the year. BTI was completed on Friday, May 21st. Vi has completed all the paperwork and put the equipment away for the season. We still have 2.5 gallons of solution left to start next year. Marty is going to become certified in the fall and possibly Rich as well. Vi did suggest that it would be good if we could pick up one more next year just to work as an apprentice with her. And she also suggested if we wanted to see what the difference was between treating different areas and not treated areas, just to take a walk back in the woods. The black flies are horrible. She said, I had been talking to other towns at one of our county meetings, and one of the towns was telling me, and I won't say the name of the company, but they had actually contracted with a company which had to be a 3-year contract, and it costs them $15,000 a year. Up to date with supplies and salary, we have spent $6,327 this year. Last year it was $5,813, so it's a difference of $514 and change this year. So at the beginning of the season, I just want to mention that we only had Vi and sometimes Mark Creary. The advertising did help us to pick up Marty, who worked out really great. And then Vi reached out to Rich, who also enjoys it. So I just want to say thank you to the BTI team, and we really appreciate all the time and hard work that they all did. Really need to be commended on that. So that is that. So next we're on to Youth Rec. I had contacted Steve Sawn, as you all asked, to check out about the horseback riding. I had to get some information like ages, number of children that would be taking the lessons, how many lessons each child would take. In the meantime, Steve had to contact NYMER to see if it was an activity that would be approved or not. I had sent you all the information from Steve. Everybody saw it and everybody got to read all the correspondence going on. And it seems like a waiver is still leaving the liability open on the town if a child were to get hurt. So basically, I want to see what the board's feeling is, but then this morning I also heard from Steve, good morning Betsy, attached is an additional email from the underwriting department. Finding another stable would be far easier said than done. I doubt any others exist in your area or that are close enough to be practical. But their advice basically is skip it. So I will though say, on another note, Samantha had 10 kids that went to the Fonda Raceway this past weekend, and she has a really good number of kids taking the summer golf lessons. We haven't had any interest in the aide position, so Nancy, I believe at the last meeting you had suggested that Gary Reinhardt had volunteered to work a couple of days a week. So I would like to put that in motion form that we pay Gary what we were going to pay an aide.
So moved.
Okay, Neil?
Second.
Okay, any discussion?
He'll be a help.
Yeah, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next is the RO system report. Stubbs system is all hooked up and the main water supply is not functioning. It needs a new pressure switch, so Bill was going to call J.C. Parslow to replace it. It's not the town's responsibility. The Blennis system is all hooked up. It needed a little repair. Bill changed the filters. When he started it up, it blew a breaker. The reverse osmosis pump had seized from the salt, so he freed it up, cleaned it, and it works fine now. Bill did suggest that we repair the old system we had in the back on the shelf so that we have 2 spares. He figures for parts and labor it would probably cost between $200 to $500. So what is the board's decision on that? Do you all feel you'd like to go with that as long as it's within that price range?
Yep.
Okay, so a
Two
motion,
spares sounds like a good thing. I so move.
okay,
I'll second.
okay,
And Mr. Stubbs passed away,
Oh, did he?
yeah.
yep,
When did that happen?
last week.
So he never made it up to Carolina?
Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, next is BST 2020 audit update. The auditor had contacted the county treasurer's office with a list of things they wanted. So Josh and Jody came to town hall and we pulled up all the vouchers and made all the copies. Everything that they had asked for was like the fire department contract, the senior citizen contract, LoSAP agreement, third-party administrator report. So we got everything together, a lot of Oak Mountain information for our ski lessons. So we got everything together. That was right after our last meeting, so that was like 3 weeks ago, and we haven't heard from them. So we're hoping that they have all the information they need and we'll be good to go with that. Next is the pathways. We will be partnering with Soil and Water, working on the pathways. Soil and Water have 2 interns starting on June 14th. They will be working with Paul Cleveland, and Randy and I talked about it, and they're going to start by putting the stone in on the trail to get that all completed. And then there's some painting, there's some raking that has to be done, staining some posts, and quite a few other things. But Caitlin would like to see us take advantage and use them as much as we can while they're here before they go up north. So that's for the pathways. And then just a quick FYI, the library did receive a $5,000 donation from the Friends of the Library in this past month. So just wanted to mention that. Next is new business.
Excuse me,
Sure.
just circle back on the assessor thing. Did we report that his retirement is official, Dan?
Actually, I was having it in here,
New business.
Oh, okay.
under assessor, under new business.
Oh, okay, 2 places, gotcha.
Do I have it in 2 places?
No, I'm looking at it up here, Board of Assessment Review.
Okay,
Board.
oh, Board of
Gotcha.
Assessment Review, okay, yeah, okay. So next is the assessor. I had spoken with Barry Baker, and it seems like we will continue partnering with the county for our assessor position. Indian Lake would like to stay with them as well. So they have started to advertise for the position this week. Dan has given us his resignation letter, and he will be leaving on June 11th, so it's pretty close, it's this end of this week. So we will be staying with the county, with the assessor, and we will not be hiring our own within the town. So hopefully as time goes on, maybe we will get,
Barry Lewis, right?
yeah, he always does, so, yeah. So that's where we stand with that. And then the next is a new streetlight request at 351 South Shore Road by the Ambrose family property. So I'm not really sure how the board feels about that. There is no streetlight there. And I'm assuming you are there.
We are the
Would you like to
Ambrose.
speak? Would you like to speak? You're welcome to, or you don't have to if you don't want to.
Okay, well, first, it's a pleasure to be here. We're new residents to Lake Pleasant. And, after spending our first week here, the one thing we noticed is we're right at the bottom of quite a hill. And when you go along South Shore Road, there are streetlights along the way, but in the section where we are, which is on the backside, there is no streetlights along that section. And so we were just requesting your consideration to put in a streetlight for us.
Well, I'm just, I guess my only concern is there's not, it's not like it's for safety reasons for like a bus stop or something like that.
Which we've done.
Which we have done in that situation, because the school bus picks them up at like 6:30 in the morning, and in fall and winter it's dark out. But I mean, what's the board's thoughts on this?
What hill is this at the bottom of where your driveway is?
Say that again.
Your driveway's at the bottom of this hill?
It's a, yeah,
Is
There's
it
kind of a turn in a hill.
It's
so when you
across
come
from
out-
O'Connell's.
John
Right
O'Connell.
across from O'Connor's?
O'Connell.
John O'Connell.
Oh, John O'Connor's, okay, thank you.
Okay, that gives me some bearing here.
Yeah. And
I
there's-
think we should-
Yeah, there's a turn and a curve, so it's a little far, but.
Clearly, we should, review this, maybe with Randy or whoever, but I'd like to get a look, and, so we can, speak of this intelligently.
Perhaps we should talk to John O'Connell too.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
other side of it.
Right.
When, in my previous life in the village government, we did this one time for what we thought was good reason and safety, only to have someone else ask us to take it out, long-term taxpayer. That's why I brought up, not even realizing this, but the reflector things about these LEDs. Because the other, they're more like floodlights, the old sodiums, and they do kind of throw a big watt. And anyway, you do have to sort of look at this from several angles. And should it be that we cannot do it, I will share my own personal experience at the inn. I wanted more light on my parking lot, and those huge flood things coming from the building are just so offensive to the people pulling in. Someone told me, just a customer of mine, who's a NIMO guy, National Grid guy, and it turns out, I hate to say this out loud, it was a wonderful deal, which you don't usually get from every utility. And it's a monthly thing. There's 2 Cobras that instead of going on Route 8, they go on the its parking lot. They're soft, they're easy, and it's a monthly commitment that's quite reasonable. So they had to place those on existing poles, so there wasn't a great deal with that, and I don't know that that would be germane to your situation, but it's something to consider if we can't do it.
Yeah, have you checked with National Grid at all, or no?
Well, I started to inquire about it, and I thought, I actually talked to Bob, who owns the property right across the street from us, and, he's the one who said, well, those lights along the road now are either owned by the village or the town, he wasn't sure which, and I'm like, okay.
Where you are, it's the town.
It's the town.
And we were gonna go ask John anyways.
Good,
Because
new neighbor.
certainly if, yeah, we've met him we wouldn't do it if he didn't want to do it, because we were looking at where it is. I mean, it's on the other side of our driveway, he's kind of up the hill, but I don't really know how much light it reflects, but it might change his lighting, which he may not appreciate.
Well, it's sort of a lot of things in the hopper right now. It might change the lighting, and then it seems like we're talking
Oh,
about
yeah,
The LEDs.
the LEDs as well, so
Yeah.
we'll definitely put this in the mix.
Thank you,
And welcome.
thank you.
Okay. So, next is, I have a copy here of our local law, if anybody would like a copy of it.
The junk law,
Our junk, yes.
junk storage law.
It's our local law number 4 dated 2009, which is our junk storage law. After receiving 2 complaints, 1 written complaint and 1 phone call, the code enforcement officer and I went out to see for ourselves to check out the situation, and we did take pictures. And, did I show these to you guys? Did you see all these? Okay, just wanna take a look at them. I'm not really sure what the board wants to do here. I feel that it's not fair to our code enforcement officer to just throw him into this, that he has to go and address this. I was kind of hoping the board could come up with a decision tonight. And.
Yeah, I saw it in person.
Okay. And Chris
Yeah, they've been on the
knows.
road, so.
Kristen. One of the problems is on the 16th, we have large trash pickup. But this garbage has been sitting out, it started way back in March. And it's just keeps growing and growing. And people that live on this road have to drive by this. It is in the town right of way, the one home is definitely right, like in the town right away, right on the side of the edge of the road, which could be dangerous at night, speaking of street lighting. But I just think that it's time that we start addressing this. It's not only the garbage that is there or the trash for pickup day, there is it just goes all along these folks' property, and it's across the street, like stuff must have blown from their yard across the street, and it's just left there. One is like a laundry basket, a yellow laundry basket, and a big garbage can, and a big bag of garbage, it's all over. It's just not fair. It's not fair to the neighbors. So I'm just curious where the board stands on this, if we want to start addressing this, and how you want to proceed with this.
I think if we're going to address it, we should follow the local law that was passed. And that gives you each step to go through in order for it to be illegal according to the law. So basically, the town board doesn't need to get involved otherwise, other than giving our pat on the back for Bob to start this investigation, but we don't get involved until after a court date is put up, when there is no answer to the violation, according to
Section 4?
Section 3,
section 2.
Complaints?
under the complaints, and then the notice to comply.
Right, Article D, section 1, section 2 and 3. And then if you want to go to 4, enforcement and summary abatement. The enforcement officer is hereby authorized pursuant to criminal procedure law to issue an appearance ticket to any person the enforcement officer has reason to believe has violated this law and shall cause such person to appear before the municipal justice. That's if they don't answer. And then after that, upon failure of an owner, tenant, or occupant to notice to correct the violation of this local law, the Lake Pleasant Town Board may hold a public hearing to determine whether the violation constitutes a public
He's in
nuisance.
section 4 now.
And it's spelled out pretty good,
Yeah.
Yes,
what we have to do.
I agree, but I think we're maybe attacking this from two different, go ahead, Nancy.
No, I was gonna say, we have a complaint.
And a complaint should go to Bob,
A written,
according to this.
No, Bob has no written complaint. We received a written complaint at the town, but it's not signed. And then about 2 weeks ago, I received a phone call from a taxpayer with concerns asking me to take a drive-by on my way to work the next day, just to take a look at what folks as they're going down that road have to look at. That's how it started. So I had gone, I had walked it, I had taken pictures, I went back and Bob and I were talking, and then Bob and I went out and looked at it again. I do not want to throw Bob out on this himself. I mean,
No, I don't either, but that's what the law says.
Well, I agree with you technically, but I will say that the way things come in to the office, I don't wanna shirk this out of bureaucracy. I personally would like to see our board, send a certified letter or a letter that has to be signed for, that we are aware of this violation. It definitely appears to be a violation by the pictures and by the verbiage in this law. To avoid, because where Bob gets in by the letter of the law is with a citation. And I suggest that we try to, for the respect of the taxpayer, to give them the opportunity to avoid the citation.
I agree. I would like to see it that way too.
and Bob has the authority to give
Yes.
a citation?
Yes, he does.
Yep, it doesn't, I don't think it, according to this, doesn't have to be a citation right away. It could be, like you
It
said,
shouldn't be a citation right away, you should get a warning
Good morning.
with a, you're allowed to remedy the situation.
Mhm.
But what I'm saying is, without a written complaint, I mean, anybody can call up and say, I don't like this and I don't like
Right,
that.
I agree
I could
with
be
you.
running around for 8 hours a day doing just that.
Right.
So, what I'm saying is, if you wanna follow this up, if the board directs me to follow up, an address or 2 addresses or whatever you want, I will definitely do that. But I'm not gonna do it without a written complaint signed by somebody. So, like I said, if you wanna do that, and you go on record, say, yep, we want this investigated, that's fine. We'll take care of that.
Well,
I'm just not gonna do it for just any,
right, but
anybody.
with all due respect, it's been investigated. I mean, that's,
No, I know
just so
that.
that
I
we're
was
not
there. I was
rewriting
there.
the situation. It's there, the trash is still there. We now have pictures that are current, and we have people calling the town hall. I think, not to abrogate any of Bob's authority, but I think to enforce it, I think this board should send a letter apprising the taxpayers of their responsibility to clean this up.
I agree.
And further investigation will be requested of our land use officer. Does that work for anyone?
That's what I would like to see, and give them a significant amount of time to clean it up, because we do have our garbage pickup day, which is June 16th.
Next week.
So it's next week, so make it maybe a week or 2 after that. So after our guys go and pick up all the big stuff that we always do, that people put out, that gives them a week or 2
It does. And
to
I'm-
clean up the end of their driveway and across the street
But
and
in
down
that
the road.
wording,
And
should
down
be
the road.
reminding them that,
Yes.
that the 3 times, is it 2 now, the trash days?
3.
3. So the 3 times that the town goes out of its way to pick up things to keep you from having to go to the dump or hire people and so on, that can't be abused. In fact, in the handouts that are given out every year, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them, it states that you're not to put this trash out until
1 week prior.
It says, please do not start piling until 1 week prior to date.
Right.
Keep our streets clean.
Right.
I mean, how
I
much
can tell you,
simpler?
I drove that road once a week for weeks delivering meals, and right after trash pickup day, every
It
time,
starts again.
that particular property started putting stuff on the road again.
Right.
It-
and
it's
that's
just
what
So
that-
it's not
So-
gonna go away.
Well, but in this letter, I propose I would help, I'd come to the supervisor's office, start writing.
Good.
But they have to be reminded that this is not an ongoing perennial, that we can't leave it out there, that there's no, doesn't matter whether plowing is finished or not. It's unsightly, and it is in a direct violation of both the spirit of this and the letter of this law.
Okay, so I'm looking then for a
I'll move
motion.
that.
Neil,
I'll second.
Nancy, any other further discussion? Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so we will take care of that, buddy boy, as soon as we can. Off the golf course.
You know, sometimes there's a weight on holes, I could dictate, no, I'm just kidding.
Okay,
Well, you were talking about waiting until after trash day, are you now saying you're gonna send a
Well-
letter like tomorrow?
no, we're gonna get together and send the letter, but we're not going to make the day they have to clean the rest of it up till after the trash day.
From now until whatever, say if it was the 28th of June,
Okay.
that at least the trash day will have already happened, so we
Like
should get
maybe
something of a
30
clean slate
days or something.
over there.
Okay.
Yeah,
But this is, I think this is one of several things that people have grumbled about, residences and properties. And I think we have to start somewhere.
and, now, I don't know who said this to me, but someone town level or county level, that in the past, it's happened, and if they don't clean it up, and the highway guys go out and clean it up,
We can bill
then we bill them
It's in
for
the
that time, okay, so we're in agreement that that could possibly happen down the road as well.
When we first came in,
Yeah,
Debbie,
Yep.
You and I.
Nancy, you and I, Nancy, you were already there, weren't
She
you?
was,
I was,
yeah,
yeah, I was
Yeah,
there.
you were working
she was
there.
there.
We gave big props for the previous board that had just preceded us. And I spoke to Frank on this a number of times, giving him kudos. Not too sure, a little more ambiguous in the enforcement, but you hope that you can follow it up without being punitive to a taxpayer. But the fact that that law was passed was, I think, ample reason. There were a lot of folks complaining about these things
When I went back,
12 years ago.
before I came to the meeting tonight, I went through the minutes of when this started, in the minute book. And this was months and months and months before this local law was finally, they went around and around and
Sure.
around. So it wasn't something that they just
No,
thought about.
and they spent,
And they
they spent
tried-
a lot of time with the lawyer over Glens
Yep,
Falls.
they tried with complaints, they tried letters.
But it was good wording in there,
Yeah.
and the exclusions are wonderful as far as, stacked firewood, we're a rural place.
Yep.
Hoses and this and that, we
But there's
understand.
definitely copies of it in the minutes that proceeded for many, many
Yeah.
months prior to the local.
But we have copies of this local law here, if anyone wants to pick it up.
Yeah,
And we
they're right up here.
have to make
Anybody would
sure
like
that a copy of it goes with the letter
Absolutely,
and
Good idea.
perhaps a garbage schedule.
With it highlighted?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll work on
by
that.
mailing. I mean,
Okay.
Randy's got you.
Randy.
Randy?
I have one question, what the junk days, quote unquote, the 3 junk days that we have now, this law was made before or after that?
This was done in 2009, so it's 12 years old, I don't know when we started with
Yeah.
trash day pickups.
Trash days where Jack was here, so if we.
Yeah, so it was before that,
Okay.
yeah.
Reason being is like, we didn't bring this upon ourselves after we had the law that,
Oh,
we invited
no.
people.
No.
No, in
Putting
fact,
stuff out.
because people have been putting stuff out too early, the girls, when they do this every year, were wise to put it among the other, rules, regs and so on, about don't put it out within it. We've known that, but sometimes when Leo would run into this same area of problem. So it's best to just have more information out there on our website,
Right.
on these handouts. They couldn't be more easily noticed.
And I think Randy was definitely an input on that week before,
yeah.
because of the fact that it was
Sure.
starting to mound up again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right, but it can't be a free-for-all like this.
And it was in the
No.
newspaper too. I mean,
And
this cost
I
us
will say,
$300 some odd
the big
dollars.
difference, Randy, over the last, say, 4 or 5 years, and you know this because you deal with the scrapper too. There was a
Yes.
time when we would put things out on the highway,
right,
and they'd be gone the next morning.
right.
I mean, anything of any weight, if it had any metal in it, the scrapper boys from Gloversville, gone. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
big heavy refrigerator units I put out, gone. But scrap metal prices went in the toilet, and now nobody cares. So it's left back to,
Isn't it going up again?
Going
Yeah,
up?
it's on the rise.
Yeah.
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 so,
I think also past highway superintendents didn't want to see it on the road. So they would go around and have the guys clean it
start early.
and, pick it up
Yeah.
if they saw something.
Exactly.
And that got into a bad
That was a very bad
precedent
situation.
because then people were saying, well, we saw it over at that house and now it's gone, so.
Villages,
Just put it
villages
out,
still
they'll
doing
pick it
that.
up.
Yeah.
If Paulie sees something in front of my house, they take it right away.
Right.
Yeah.
Then it's not, then it's a 24/7,
Yeah.
anytime
Right,
they wanna
right.
put it out there, they put it and they take it, and it's a non-stop
We don't
ordeal.
wanna put the dump guys out of business.
Okay, so moving right along, community gardens, June Berkowitz, Burkholz stopped in and introduced herself to Randy and I. And we had a conversation with her, and she mentioned that they were going to put some black paper or black, what do you call it, mesh down, black mesh, filter paper like, and then put wood chips on top. So Randy had one of the guys, or Randy, got a dump truck load of wood chips and took it down for them. They've rototilled everything up, all the weeding is done, they're absolutely loving it. Her family, she's a farm girl, and she said her family comes up on weekends and they go there and they weed whack. They've cleaned, they've reorganized the shed, they found a small rototiller. She called up and asked if Randy could come and pick it up, and the guys fixed it and took it back, and she's just kudos to you guys, Randy, it works wonderful, she said today. So I just wanna mention, that she also said that they have a few more people that have taken plots, and they are now 100% filled to capacity.
Keep it open, we're gonna have to expand.
So that's great.
We got
So
the room.
sometimes it just takes a new face and, to revive things. So just thanked her for everything she's doing for our community.
They're nice people, and by the way, her
they?
husband's the starter of the
Seems
golf
nice.
course.
Oh, yes, she did tell us
See how
that.
it all comes together?
Thank you,
for us?
Neil.
I'm out there working for you always.
Okay, so Chris, we're gonna start with committee reports. Do you have anything?
No, I don't.
No? Okay. Debbie? Nancy?
No.
Neil?
I've done more than 10 minutes than I need to. It's not done.
Don?
Nope.
Okay.
I'll circle back for one personal.
Okay.
Is your
All
name
who haven't
Saki or
already.
what?
I'm circling back. Like Jen Saki.
back.
I just wanted to extend anyone who doesn't get my Facebook feed, which is probably a lot, please come to our open house barbecue on Saturday the 12th, as in this Saturday. It's happy birthday to one Kevin McGovern, who's turning 40.
Oh, wow. Where is
Please
he?
come.
Shay.
At the house,
At your house?
just bring a folding chair, a smile, and perhaps a bathing suit. It's a little party.
What time is it?
3 until 10.
Till 10?
Wow.
Oh my
And
God, you have a
anytime
cot for
during-
me to take a nap?
It's a hammock out there somewhere. But Kevin will be out on Timberline Drive around 5 for the scaredy cats who don't go in public
Aw.
places yet. So we'll do like we did at that Winchell a year ago, a little circle by or whatever. But,
Nice.
That'd be
Yeah.
Will you be on the veranda at that point?
We'll have a paper wave. We have Gary as our karaoke DJ all day.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yep, a couple of professional barbecuers there.
Great.
Well, Johnny and Steven, but, please come.
Will do.
I'll have to my regrets, I have another birthday party.
It's a popular date.
Yeah, me too.
Well, you know what it is, I mean, everything it's this year's stuff and then all the last year's stuff.
Right,
The reschedule,
and that's
so
what's happening.
Weddings.
Yeah. Okay, so the only thing I have, which is really, really, really good news, we had a meeting on May 27th with Tracy Eldridge, Bill Farber, Nick Morrow, Dean Caravel, and representatives from the DOT, Brian Hoffman, Linda Luby, and Sean Hennessy. Tracy set up this meeting to discuss some future projects within Hamilton County. One being Route 30 south of Speculator.
Yes.
But to our surprise, they had a big map and they unrolled it to show us that they had fantastic news for us. The section from Speculator where the sidewalk ends to 3 Mile Bridge, 8.86 miles, was approved. The work will start in spring of '22. The material will be hot in place recycling with multi-course overlay. They will also be replacing guardrails that need to be replaced, and the cost of the project is over $3 million. So it is paid off And Chris, for you, with your petition and all the signatures and the meetings that we've had over the past year and a half at county, it has really paid off, so we finally got somewhere.
8.3 miles are gonna go?
8.86
No,
miles.
8.86 miles.
8.8.
Yep. Yep. Okay.
Sure, I've done that as well.
Shorty, you helped on that petition as well, didn't you, with Chris?
I talked to Kathy Hoke, the lieutenant
That's
governor,
great.
about it, and she
Thank
put it out down in Albany, so.
It's good to be.
Well, thank
squeaky
you. It paid off. Persistence prevailed, right?
Indeed,
Absolutely.
high time.
Absolutely.
Time is right.
Okay, so next is motion to pay the bills from June 5th. And we actually had two. It was June 5th and the, didn't we have two, Debbie? We had a special bill pay.
You too.
Yeah, you had the
Yeah.
National Grid one.
June 5th and we had National Grid.
I thought it was dated
I
today.
think it was like May
No.
Oh, before.
28th or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yes, it was. It was the 28th of May. Okay, so
So
I'm
moved
looking for a
both.
motion. A second?
I'll second.
Any discussion on the bills? All in favor?
Thank
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so public comment. Shorty?
The only thing I've got, we opened the museum Friday.
Uh-huh.
It's the first time it's been open to the public since October of 2019,
Wow.
because of, we closed in the fall, and because of COVID. And Friday was as expected, because people have been driving by it for over a year, and it's been closed. So Friday was just a day just sitting there, just tinkering with everything. And Saturday, we actually had two people from Long Island stop by and visited for over an hour, and said they own a place in Wells. And they said they were gonna be back again and bring some of the.
What are the days for this season, Shorty?
Friday and Saturday from 10 to 2, and Tuesday, Aaron's gonna be there like from 1 to 3.
Oh.
But we're also open by appointment, anybody
Yes.
calls the museum number to, to take
Sure.
machine design. And I usually check it every day, and if they wanna make an appointment to come in on a odd day or something like that, we always accommodate them, so.
Nice,
Good man, thank you.
very nice.
What phone number should they
Yeah,
call for an appointment, Shorty?
Isn't it 548 mushroom?
548 HIST, which is 4478.
HIST, that's right.
Okay,
That was Annie did that, isn't it?
okay, so our next meeting will be Monday, May 21st, and I'm looking,
June?
you.
June,
Roundtable.
Monday, June 21st.
And then we gotta decide what we're gonna do about July's meeting.
Round table. Did we do round table? I thought we just
No,
committee
committee
report.
You missed it, huh?
I missed it, okay, round table, Nance? She must have something.
Yes, I do. This is something that I always looked at when, I was working for the town, other than this. Postage is going up 3 cents, the end of August.
Ooh.
So we should buy lots and lots of forever stamps.
Are there forevers or just 55s?
Forevers.
Okay.
And there'll be 58 cents come August 31st, I
Gotcha.
think it is. So,
We just spend the budget
yeah,
early.
So
yeah.
Debbie, the last time you bought $2,000 worth of forever stamps, did we go through all them already?
Yep,
I thought
Yep.
so.
Yeah, they do
because if you
get,
think about it, it goes out with the tax collector too, that whole budget line is on that
Yeah,
too. So
yeah.
when we send out, we send out almost over 1,000 some odd tax bills. So then you gotta send out back receipts for most of them, even though we try and combine them as best we can.
right, but that, so you have the tax collector line and you also have the regular
Yeah.
office supply line, so.
Okay, did you want to
I'll
move
load
that?
them up for the next town
Do we
clerk,
have
how's
to have a
that?
motion? I mean,
No, it's
it's
the
in
same
the
budget.
budget.
That's fine.
It's just it's an
Yeah.
office matter.
I'll just
Right.
buy them with, oh, Sammy's got my credit card, so I gotta get that back.
Has she been back in town?
Are there funds in the administrative end to do this? Get a couple $1,000?
Oh, yeah.
more?
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just
Yeah.
Whatever the
What's-
postage
what's
line
in
is,
the
just spend it
budget?
all.
Yeah, I always,
Oh, you already have it in the budget?
oh, yeah, we take it out of both the town clerk line and the tax collector line too.
Yeah, but you.
No,
to
I
buy
don't,
all this all of a sudden, all at once?
Well,
what I'm saying?
Well, we won't drain the budget,
yeah,
right?
and the post office does, you know, we'll have to order and stuff like that, so.
Basically, I'm saying, do you want more money to buy more
No, I don't need more
stamps?
money,
No.
no. I'm fine, thank you, we worked
But,
on our
and
budget
then,
well.
of course, you know, incrementally, all the other things are gonna go up, you know, I'm sure, not only just the stamps, so it'll
Pretty
be.
good possibility.
Chris, do you have anything for roundtable?
I have two things.
Okay.
Has the school district signed the bus garage lease
No,
yet?
it's not due till the end of the month, well, and I'm figuring that hopefully at the next meeting, we will have it
Haven't heard
back.
anything back from them?
No, and I did send it to them after we approved everything and rewrote it.
Good
Yep,
question.
it's
And
in my folder.
have we received any of the American Rescue Plan funding yet?
No.
For the town?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
But they have until, the state has until, Wednesday to get it to us,
Wow,
so
they better.
should be
get busy.
$40,000.
Yeah, we
Unless
have to
I
justify it.
don't understand how this is gonna work, but, you know, it appears to me.
If it's not there by Wednesday, we're gonna give them a stern talking to.
They
Absolutely.
might do it like, ACH, that, it might be, you know, cause that's the way like CHIPS money and all comes in.
Treasurer's office will call if they do.
Right.
Yeah.
They'll let us know right
I'm
away.
just curious.
When it falls, it'll fall for all the towns in the county at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Anything
the
else,
state
Chris?
is holding on
Nope,
to it as
that's
long as
it.
they can.
Last
Yeah.
day.
Don?
Nope, just kudos to the pathway for
Yeah.
getting the work done.
Good job,
Yep.
yeah.
Looking good down there.
Got anything else?
I jumped the gun, I thought, when you went through me, last time I thought it was roundtable and it was committees. Kevin's not in committees.
I just wanted to just go over what we're gonna do about the July 1st meeting, what day you guys want to fall that on, just so we can touch base with the librarian to find out what's available.
I would say Tuesday the 6th, right?
Do you have?
Well, I have court, but I mean, that's up to you, how you wanna handle that, whether you wanna do it early or not.
We could do it, you want a 5 o'clock? Do you wanna bang them all together?
Why
More-
don't
more
we
up-
try to do it earlier?
That's what we normally do,
That's
Yeah,
what we usually do.
Do 5
5
o'clock?
PM.
July 6th, let me contact Sherry and see if that works for her, and I'll get back to the board on that, okay?
Good.
That sounds good, Deb. Thank you for holding my hand on that.
I didn't.
All right, Debbie, I couldn't understand everything.
Okay, I just said that, our next meeting, if it all goes well with Sherry, will be July 6th at 5 o'clock, it's Tuesday.
Here.
Oh, not June 21st?
No, the meeting after, the
The
first of
first-
July, I'm sorry,
First meeting in July.
of July. Only because court's in session at 7, so
Okay.
I
You
just have to
people
go to meetings
work,
all
the
day
5th is
long.
a
So you
holiday.
people that have to work at night.
So the Monday the
Okay.
5th is a holiday for you
Yeah.
people who have to work.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are retired, so you know,
Doesn't matter.
just so you know,
The golf course will be busy.
very.
Yeah, one day's the same as the next.
Okay, so I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay. Second?
I'll
Okay. Thank you for coming, everybody.
You're signing seconds?
No, I was deferring seconds.
He was thinking about the golf course.
I always take seconds, you probably see.
I know, that's why I was surprised.
For a while, right?
Yeah.
Deb's birthday is.
Are you an Elizabeth? Oh, you are. I am a Betsy.
A lot of people ask me that, though. Your first name?
Elizabeth, but I'm Betsy, I go by Betsy.
No.
So there's not a lot of Betsys, that's why I was wondering.
Isn't that too funny?
Yeah, so you are, I think,
Popping up.
Hey, kiddo.
I wanted